Hey guys, I have been thinking really, really hard lately about what my next topic was going to be, and I lost my voice a little bit, so I'm a little hoarse. Um, I couldn't really come up with a good topic. Like I felt like I was um, lacking inspiration a little bit, and so over the course of the last couple of days, um, me and Nicholas had like a few tiffs. You know what I mean? Like I don't even want to call it fights because it wasn't a fight. It was just we seen a situation in a different way and we weren't seeing eye to eye. And um, I think in relationships it's so important how you handle things because in my book, you know what I mean? I do not allow disrespect. So in certain relationships, when I hear females say he calls me names when we fight, he's called me this, he's called me fat, he's called me you when it comes to being disrespected, there Nicholas has no strikes in my book. And I give the same respect that I expect. Um, I keep saying it's gonna drive myself crazy. So in relationships nowadays, why does it feel like men are scared to take on their role? I feel like in relationships you're gonna have a masculine, you're gonna have a feminine, and it has nothing to do with equality. Like this topic has nothing to do with equality because I mean you can both make um, you know equal efforts into the relationship in general. Like you can both um, the both of you can pretty much just you know put in the same amount of contributions and things like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that y'all are both masculine. So like in relationships there's always a masculine and there's a feminine. So I feel like nowadays women do not respect their man as the masculine because the men are not being the masculine. And that does not mean, you know, in order to be the masculine, in order to be the man in the relationship, that doesn't mean that you have to be arrogant. That doesn't mean that you are disrespectful. It does not mean that you're abusive. It mainly just means that you lay down rules and you are the leader in your family and you make the strong decisions in your family. At the end of the day, if you're going to be the man in your house and you have to be willing to take on that role, and you have to be willing to be confident in the way that you move and the way that you act and the way that you decide things. I think that women test you, like when a kid um, is kind of like testing their parents to see what they can get away with. You know what I mean? Like they'll disrespect you, they'll call you, they'll tell you like, no, I'm not doing it. You tell them, hey, go in your room, and they're like, no, I'm not. They're testing you. And eventually, after being tested so many times, they're going to catch on to the fact that this is what I can get away with and this is what I can't. But they're going to test your limits in order to see that. And I feel like women do the same thing. And I don't necessarily mean that they're doing that to play a game. I think that women just have a rebellious, sassy nature. And, never before in any relationship that I've ever been in have I ever been the feminine. I've always been the masculine, and I've always been the person in the relationship that kind of just like leads the way and makes decisions. And I was just extremely dominant and extremely affirmative and all of these characteristics. And I think it's because I had never met someone who I trusted to be the masculine. And in this situation, I think that this the relationship that I'm in now, I trust him to be the masculine. I trust him to lead my family. So the purpose of this, having the masculine and having the feminine, the purpose of it is because, in order for you to have that sexual tension, and I don't know why people get so uncomfortable when talking about anything when it comes to like your sexuality. Like that's nothing to be uncomfortable about. And I feel like men should not um push down their sexuality because at the end of the day, you cannot be worried that a woman's going to be offended as long as you are doing these things in a very respectful, just being a gentleman about it. But I mean, at the end of the day, isn't that the whole point? Like, don't you want the guy that you're going to be with to want you sexually, or, you know what I mean, like be sexually attracted to you, or, just like sexually desire you. So I think that it's the approach that you take it in. But if you're taking it in that manner that, oh my God, he told me, that he thinks that I'm a very attractive woman. I feel so offended. Like what a pig. Like, do you want the guy that you're with to not attract you? Like, not to be attracted to you? Like, I don't know. Well, look, everybody has their preference. But I mean, in my opinion, I think that in order for there to be that masculine, feminine, sexuality, like sexual tension, sorry, not sexuality, sexual tension, you have to have one of each. So if your woman is trying just as hard to be the masculine and she's not being submissive to that role as the feminine, then that's where you run into those issues. And that's where you run into the issues of, he doesn't, he's not attracted to me anymore. And, the role of the woman, I'm saying, like, I'm just so tired and I feel like, like he's not manning up and taking care of me, like just doing, he's not the man of the house. And it's like, okay, we got to take a step back and we have to decide what role we're going to be. So if you want someone who's going to be a man and be the man of the house and be the man of the relationship and be the masculine, you have to accept the role as the feminine. That does not mean that you don't have an input. That does not mean that you don't have your opinions about certain things. That does not mean that you are not allowed to make decisions for yourself. But, it could be as simple of a situation as, whenever you go into a restaurant, looking at the menu and, being the man of the house, you know what I'm saying, or being, the masculine in the relationship, as, before the waitress comes back. Well, what do you plan? Did you see something that you like? What do you plan on ordering? And she might tell you, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll order for you. It's fine. And to me, that's so attractive. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that you're deciding for me, but you're willing to, be the voice for me. And you know what I mean? Like, just kind of follow through the things that I already want. And that might not be every woman's cup of tea. But to me, being able to be the feminine has been such a breath of fresh air. Not having to be the decision maker in my relationship anymore. Like, I remember in a past relationship that I was in, like, he would literally give me his check at the end of the week, and I was the one that would have to sit there and give him like a weekly allowance and, pay all of the bills on time and make sure, like, I was the one that had to sit there and like organize the money. Like, that was so unattractive to me because, like, I don't want that role. But I mean, then again, I'm the one who stepped up to take that role. So if you want a masculine and you want to be the feminine, then you have to be submissive. So like, if me and Nicholas are in a tiff, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get loud with him. I'm not going to yell at him. I'm not going to say ugly things to him because he's the man of this house. I'm not going to disrespect him, and he doesn't disrespect me. I tell him my opinion on certain things, and he'll give me his opinion back. And, okay, like, I respect what you have to say. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you didn't mean to say that in that way, like, I trust you. Like, this is how it made me feel. So I just wanted to let you know where I was coming from. And that's it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be like, you have to accept your submission somewhere at some point. I think that the new age way of, equality and, like, just being 100% equals in the relationships nowadays, like, you're listening to society, what society's telling you that relationships should be like nowadays, and just take a step back. How's that working out for everybody? It's not working very well. Having, the masculine and the feminine has been something that has been going on in relationships for centuries, and it's always worked. It worked. And that's just the way that we're genetically designed. I think that it can't hurt at this point. If you're in a relationship, if you've been in relationships and they haven't worked out correctly, or you feel like, you've had any one of those problems that I named, as far as, just feeling like the roles are not, the roles just don't work. You know what I mean? Like, the two of you just aren't figuring out a good system together. I think that, like, if you're a guy dating, take that approach. Like, let her know it's my rule that I open the door for you. So, whenever we get out the car, please wait for me to open the door for you. Setting down a rule, you know what I mean? It's not that you're being disrespectful. And if anything, it's very playful, it's very caring that he's, you know what I mean, letting you know that like this is important to me and, I have a standard. And if anything, to a woman, it's like, oh wow, you know what I mean? Like he has some order, he has some structure. Like that's nice. That's different. It's a breath of fresh air. So I mean, it can't hurt to try it. Definitely let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel about this situation. If you 100% agree with it, if you're in a relationship that is this way and does have these roles, definitely just give me your input. Like I'm very curious to see what everybody's reaction, everybody's, experiences as far as just knowing, you know, where you stand in your relationship. And that doesn't necessarily mean that one is better than the other. It's just knowing your role. You know what I mean? Like you have bread and butter. Somebody's got to be bread, somebody's got to be butter. Yeah, you